Michigan.
How you doing, buddy?
Where at? How about you?
Well, there's two of them here. How do I get one of those? So, hang on a second. There you are.
All right, everybody, thanks for coming out. I'm going to call us to order here and have Bill do a roll call vote for her.
Councilmember Yancey? Here. Councilmember Miller?
Here.
Councilmember Hilliker?
Here.
Councilmember Turner?
Here.
Councilmember Raines?
Here.
Councilmember Vickers?
Here.
Councilmember Dawson? Councilmember Draper?
Here.
Mayor? Here. And I'm here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a prayer.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for another day and the glorious weather we have, Lord. Just bless this time as we come together to study the finances and business of the city. Help us have clear minds, pure hearts, and use your Holy Spirit to guide us as we make these decisions. I ask this in Jesus' name, amen.
Ready for the September minutes, Bill?
Okay.
All right.
Finance meeting minutes, September 11th, 2025. Committee Chair Sean Draper called the finance meeting to order at 6 p.m. Present Councilmember Yancey, Councilmember Miller, Councilmember Hilliker, Councilmember Turner, Councilmember Raines, Councilmember Vickers, Councilmember Dawson, and Councilmember Draper. Also present Mayor Duane Delair and Recorder Treasurer Bill Vanderpass. Absent City Attorney Brad Sipe. All stood for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence in remembrance of 9/11 and the invocation led by Councilmember Miller. The minutes from the August 14th finance meeting were read by Recorder Treasurer Vanderpass. Councilmember Dawson moved to approve the minutes, second by Councilmember Hilliker. Minutes were approved by voice vote. Treasurer's report. The Recorder Treasurer noted that it appeared that revenues were down considerably for the month. Credit card revenues were entered late because of technical issues, which accounts for some of the discrepancy, but more investigation is required. No additional issues were noted by council. Old business, slope mower. The Recorder Treasurer reported that a mower was found and a down payment was made. It is currently in transit from New Jersey. Councilmember Miller asked the mayor why he refused to sign the reimbursement check to the Recorder Treasurer for the down payment. There was a lengthy discussion about whether it is appropriate for the Recorder Treasurer to forward approved money using a personal zero-fee cash app versus a credit card advance or wire transfer, both of which have fees. Fund grant. The Recorder Treasurer reported that the fund grant application seeking money for Veterans Park Playground and Ball Field was submitted on time. Waiver. The Recorder Treasurer explained that although the matter was referred to the Finance Committee for further discussion, a subsequent discussion with City Attorney Sipe indicated that no waivers, deferrals, or payment plans could be offered to one property owner without offering the same to all property owners. New business. Potential grants. Councilmember Miller proposed consideration of a community development block grant application to be used to improve the community center. He also proposed consideration of a rural services block grant application to possibly be used for streets. A motion was made by Councilmember Miller and seconded by Councilmember Yancey to move these grants to council for consideration. The motion passed by voice vote. Public comments. Councilmember Draper thanked the fire department for all of their hard work in fighting the fire at the mall. Councilmember Miller added thanks to all of the fire departments from surrounding communities. Councilmember Hilliker expressed her contempt for all the insults to the Horseshoe Bend Fire Department. She also thanked all the kind folks who brought refreshments to the firemen. Councilmember Draper also thanked Dan Robinson for getting so many school memberships back at the golf course. Councilmember Miller brought up vacancies in committees and MSID and asked people to apply. The mayor interjected that MSD did not need commissioners because they have a special administrator. Councilmember Miller replied that the special administrator had publicly requested commissioners. The mayor suggested that an elevator in the community center might be a good use of freed up funds. He also suggested that maybe the displaced restaurateurs from the mall could move their operations to the community center. Talk around. The Recorder Treasurer informed the committee that the leak detectors approved by council in previous meeting are probably not a good solution according to Chris Bigness. The Recorder Treasurer also made council aware of an opioid settlement approval document that the mayor needs to sign. A question was raised as to the impact on city sales tax of the loss of a grocery store. The impact is yet to be determined. Councilmember Hilliker pitched the Fire Truck Open Golf Tournament on September 20th. There was a short discussion on remaining freed up funds. A motion to adjourn was made by Councilmember Dawson and seconded by Councilmember Miller. Motion passed by voice vote. Meeting was adjourned at 6:36 p.m.
Thank you. Anyone have any discrepancies, issues, want to change anything? Do I have a,
I'll make a motion to accept them.
Seconded.
thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say the same. They're approved. Finance report, Bill.
Yeah. So the, kind of contrary to the last month when we saw that revenues were down and expenses were up, kind of what we figured would happen because some of the stuff got entered late, the revenues are up and expenses are down kind of about, almost the same exact amount, so, that makes sense, so. But if we could do this every month, it'd be really awesome, because it's about a $35,000 difference, but unfortunately, it's just a makeup from last month, so.
Everyone get a chance to look at or have any questions on the finance report? Any changes, suggestions, talk?
It moves automatically to council,
Yeah.
so if you've got any questions
Is everybody
before,
good?
between now and council, we can bring it up then, or bring it up with me between now and then, so.
Old business, we got our rural services grant. Who wants to start?
The rural services grant is not going forward. And I do have a question about why it's not going forward. On the 22nd, at the board meeting of the White River Economic Development Board, it was talked about there. Mayor presented it very well, and it was encouraged by sharing it with those on the board about us approaching this grant. And that was on September 22nd. However, unbeknownst to the council or the recorder treasurer, on the 24th, Mayor, you called back to White River and pulled our application for the grant for the community center renovation. That's what we're going to use it for. I got to ask why, because we weren't even aware until Friday after that. Well, actually Thursday late we found out about.
I think you should talk to Senator Payton about it, and I know that you did. So why don't you tell people what Senator Payton said?
I did talk to Senator Payton, and at the time I was speaking to Senator John Payton, I did not know that you had terminated the application. And when I talked to him, I was
I know you'd like to
surprised
blame
that he
me
was
for
not,
everything, but I didn't terminate the
excuse me.
application.
You asked me to share, I am doing so. Please don't interrupt me. What's wrong with that? I am speaking. You asked me to share our conversation. I did call him, unbeknownst to me, the application had been pulled, so I was trying to persuade him to endorse the grant. And he stated that he had been approached to endorse the grant and told White River Economic Development that they would get back to them. He then said he called you personally, and the two of you spoke, and you related many items that you had already related to him. He says, the mayor has been sending me items since this council got sworn in about many different things. And he detailed some of them. One of them was double paying of invoices. And I think that occurred before we were sworn in. The only time I know of. There was an invoice was paid twice, but it was by no one that is currently in City Hall. Then there also was the fact of what was mentioned in the minutes. about a city employee. John Payton said he was told a city employee paid the down payment for the mower and then wanted to be reimbursed without presenting a receipt. That's what he was told. And I explained to him that I guess you can refer to the recorder treasurer as a city employee. However, he is also an elected official who's sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Arkansas and the fiduciary responsibility of treasurer of the city of Horseshoe Bend. And I know he presented evidence of a receipt for $2,500. Well, I had no idea it was recorder treasurer was John's reply. I was told it was a city employee. And I don't care to go into the 40-minute conversation, but upon presenting a different view of the items you expressed and with the truth of the actual matter, he was ready to endorse. And I then called the recorder treasurer and said, I've spoken to John, and he would like to speak to you tomorrow, which was Friday. He's going to a location. He'll be there by 10. Would like you to call him at 10:30. At that point, recorder treasurer contacted White River Economic Development. When he did that, that's when we found out, it was late Thursday, we found out that you had terminated it on the 24th. That's when we became aware of it. And again, like I said, I believe your disparaging remarks to this council, the recorder treasurer not giving a receipt, which he did, and many other things that I don't care to go into for 40 minutes. That's what had John saying that. He said this would be the first time that he ever did not endorse a grant. And I told him this should not be your first time. You should endorse. And he was on board, but then we had to find out that
So the reason we couldn't was,
the application had already been pulled.
and the mayor had pulled it,
The mayor pulled on the 24th, which
so why did you pull it?
I pulled it after talking with John Payton, who said he wouldn't endorse it. And although some of the things you've said are true, not all of them are. And I would suggest if you want to know why John pulled the grant, call Senator John Payton. He'll gladly
Okay.
tell you.
Okay, you did what you did.
Because without
that's
John
fine.
Payton's
That's
endorsement,
fine.
you're not going to get the grant.
I would like to say something. You did what you did, that's fine, but you knew that two people the recorder treasurer was putting time and energy into that grant, and a council member was putting time and energy into that grant. You didn't think you should tell them that you pulled it? You didn't bother?
I did exactly what John Payton said. I
Oh,
called
so he
back
didn't
and
tell
said
you
the
to tell him.
senator won't endorse the grant, and White River talked with them. Now, White River didn't want to do the grant in the first place because they couldn't believe they came down without
We
the
don't
mayor.
need to get into all that. We just need to know why you didn't.
You don't
why
want to get
didn't you
into the
tell-
fact that the mayor's supposed to
why-
be the person who
why-
apply for
I-
grants.
Why didn't you tell the people working on the grant that you pulled it? That's all I want to know.
Well, I guess you have to call John Payton and ask him.
He ain't going to tell me why you didn't tell him.
John will answer anything that you have to question about.
John isn't the one who called, Mayor. You're the one who called.
You're the one
We
that
just
pulled the
wanna know.
grant.
Can I ask you something?
We were putting a lot of time into this thing, and suddenly we find out it's pulled.
If we had gotten the grant, would you have not been in control of how it was spent? I mean, wouldn't you have had to sign off on some of that?
Yes, I would have to sign off
Okay.
on it.
That would have been great if you could have done that for all your citizens. I mean, seriously, it would have.
Or at least
So-
next time, tell the people working on it you're going to pull it.
I think that's
so they
true,
don't waste
but
time
And when you're
energy.
talking to him, you're selling your city. Could you have not tried to talk him into endorsing us? For the grant?
Because I'm not the only one that's talked with John Payton. And even though Brian makes it sound like I'm the world's worst person, and I'm sure I'm responsible for
we're
everything
just
wrong
asking you
in the
questions.
lives here, it's not strictly me. John Payton talked with a lot of other people as well and decided on his own, I didn't bend some senator's ear or hold a gun and say, don't do this, that he didn't want to do it.
I would encourage you to speak to John Payton, anyone that has curiosity.
Yes.
Because John Payton mentioned no one except the mayor. that may be true, someone else may have contacted him, but in our conversation, he only mentioned the mayor, he only called the mayor, and it was a discussion between the mayor and him where he said, between the mayor and I, we decided because of the unfiduciary council with city money, it would be unwise to give them state money. And that was a decision that he said that the mayor and him reached because of the items that the mayor presented to him. He didn't say anyone else's name. Mayor, there may be other people, but John's conversation named one person to me. And as far as White River not wanting to do it, they wanted to do it. The recorder treasurer and myself met with them in Batesville, discussed the whole grant, and if they had any disparaging or problem with us doing it, they should have voiced it at that point. They said no word of discouragement or anything of the kind. They were all for it. They were working with us. We were proceeding forward for the citizens of this city to try and make something better and positive and proactive on renovating the community center.
Yeah, in fact,
Again,
What she
with
said.
the situation that has existed between this council and the mayor, I was afraid he would be derogatory, but I did ask his support for it, and he said he would support the grant.
Now, you asked my support for the fund grant. You didn't tell me anything about this grant. In fact, I only knew you went to White River because Victoria told me. You never mentioned this once. And don't tell me White River didn't ask you why you were there without the mayor.
they didn't. I was there. He didn't. Honestly, she didn't. I mean, maybe she thought it, but she didn't ask it.
About free money, why would you say no to free money for our free?
I didn't say no to free money, okay?
Grant,
Senator Payton, without Senator Payton supporting it, you don't get the money. That was his decision. Oh, yes, I talked him out of it. Yeah, I held a gun to the senator's
you're saying
hand.
Senator Payton is the one that called the agency and canceled it, or was it you?
No, I called the agency and canceled it when Senator Payton said he wouldn't like to write the letter to support it.
It was you.
Yes,
Yes, it
On
is.
this particular grant, most grants don't, some do. This particular one needs an endorsement. He said it was the first time ever he was going to not endorse a city applying for a grant. And he said he only was doing it because of his conversation with Mayor Delair. That's his words directly from him.
We had an asbestos study that came in that we wouldn't have even, we would have canceled had we known. But we had that done.
One of the things we had to do for the grant is we had to have that building inspected for asbestos. That's part of getting the approval. We had arranged for that. A person came and inspected for the asbestos. It's not like it was just our efforts and our labor. We also had to get someone who they recommended, the White River Economic Development, told us who we could get to get the asbestos inspection, and we got them to come do the inspection. It's just not myself and Bill and the other employees that are working on this, getting the details and arranging for the grant. We also enlisted the help of this asbestos inspector.
What did that cost?
$700.
I believe it's $700.
More money wasted.
That we wouldn't have used if we
It's
known the
not,
grant had been
excuse
pulled.
me, it's not wasted, because I think this council, I'm one of 8, but I think this council was on board, and we can apply again for the same grant next year. Therefore, that money we spent is not necessarily wasted,
It'll be done.
but I was just trying to make an example that it was not just the efforts and hourly of the employees and personnel that volunteered on this. It was also bringing in what the White River Council recommended, an asbestos inspector.
In the meeting at White River, I mean, again, I had no way of knowing what people are thinking, but they bent over backwards because we were pretty late. They basically said, if this had been one more day, we would have said, forget it. Well, if they really didn't like us doing it, they would have said, forget it, because they would have had a good reason to do it. So that's my read on that. Second of all, I did end up talking to Mr. Payton. at length on Friday because he wanted to talk to me, and he only mentioned conversations with Mayor, as Brian said. I have no idea. He could have had other conversations, I don't know. But he also said he was not aware that the whole thing hinged on him. If he had been made aware of that, he probably would have done the recommendation. He was not aware. Nobody made him aware that he thought it was just a nicety that you do to help you get a grant, because that is often what you do. I mean, we did that with the fire grant. I mean, we're trying to get every single public official we could to recommend it. So-
In many grants, the endorsement is like window dressing. It helps make your grant look more, your application look more appealing. But in this particular one, it required an endorsement. And he apparently wasn't made aware of that.
Back to the beginning, if you would work with the mayor, maybe you would have all been able to do it together.
We had those
And,
meetings.
and why were we doing it the last minute is because that's when we found out about it. When we were looking at the Fun Park grant, the grant was available much longer, and that, again, grants and must be applied through the mayor's office. Why was the mayor working on this earlier? Why wasn't he looking for this grant? I don't know. I can't answer that question. But when we found it, we thought our window is very tight. If we don't act now, we won't be able to do it this year.
And you still could have called him and asked him to join.
Are we really that petty that if somebody doesn't get invited to be on the team, if somebody doesn't get invited to be on the team, that we are gonna be against money that's for our community?
Hey, let's get back, hey, let's stop, okay?
All right, let's get back on track now. Come on. We did.
Yes,
We did.
Yeah.
We had a whole
Yes. We
talked about it in
pre-meeting
2
before the grant. We had a whole pre-meeting where we got ideas and everybody heard of it, and it was a great idea, and he said it, sat there and didn't say anything about it. So that's why he's wasting time and energy and resources, because that's what he wants and likes to do. So, all right, I think we have beat the grant to death, so we'll move on to new business and go to the.
I'd like to say one more thing before we go on, Sean, as far as timing and not knowing. Was not the last council meeting on the 22nd? Was that not, and we had a meeting prior to that council meeting, started at 5:30?
Yep.
To discuss this very grant in depth and get feedback from the community?
Yes.
yep.
And then on the 24th, he canceled it. It's not like he wasn't aware, not like we weren't working on it, not like we weren't trying to get citizens' feedback. I just want to make that clear on timing.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Amendment to
I
ordinance.
want to make one other thing
ahead.
clear. Do
Go
you
ahead.
really believe that John Payton didn't know, as a senator, that his decision decided that grant up or down? Do you really want to believe that he's that dumb as a senator?
Either that or he's a
that
liar, because
he
he's the one who
didn't
told me
know?
that. He's the one who told me. He absolutely told me that. I'll
Well,
swear on
I-
a stack of 100 Bibles, he's told me.
Yeah, I'm sure
absolutely.
you would. I have no doubt you would. But you want us to believe that Senator Payton had no idea his endorsement decided those grants? When he
Yes.
called me and said, I'm not giving you the endorsement, call him and stop the grant. He didn't know anything about that. That's what you're saying.
I'm telling you what he
40-minute
told me. All I can tell
conversation,
you is
he
what
did
told
not
me.
say those
Okay,
words.
we're done with it. We're done with that. Let's move on. We are now finally to the amendment to ordinance 9313 on docks.
Mm-hmm. 9313 was the original. It was laden with MRID in it because the lakes, prior to them being transferred to city, MRD enforced dock construction regulations. That enforcement was granted to them by the council with ordinance 93-13. Thought you had a question. So as such, that's part of what the new ordinance is, would be removing MRID references and installing the city as the enforcing agency of the regulations. Plus, there are some changes. Dock was only allowed to go out, I believe, 32 feet into the lake. And at the time when they wrote these up, most pontoon boats weren't that large. They're large now, and that And our lake wasn't as much sediment filled in around the lake as it has now. Therefore, the distance, according to people that have examined it around the lake, needs to be extended to have the depth to accommodate the boats. And these changes were made and went through the building committee. The building committee looked at what was said about the depth and the distance, and they're increasing the 32 to 38 out. And the total area you could occupy as far as horizontal width would be 40 feet.
We have, the owner of Flathead Wing here, and we're also gonna update the electric code that was on all that stuff.
I understand. I ain't got to that yet because you raised your hand.
He was gonna talk on that.
I will get to that. And along with the other additions the city council did, Raul, the chairman, come along and the electrical items that were in 93-13 were from 1990 NEC. Well, it gets updated every 3 years. So just to make sure that we were current, since we're updating, we're trying to cover all bases. He rewrote the portion that has to do with bringing electrical down to your dock, next to the water and so forth with NEC from 2020 instead of 1990. So that's being updated, and as an attachment to this ordinance is the electrical specifications for docks. And along with that, they also have updated the application and the fees and so forth. And along with the application, of course, is the regulations and dimensions and so forth that I mentioned. The main difference is instead of 32, it's going to be 38. And instead of, I think it was also only 32 horizontal, now it's going to be 40-foot horizontal. Now, there's different ways of doing that, but everything has to be brought forward, just like you do with a house print you're going to build or whatever. You have to bring with your application a blueprint of what you're proposing, your dock be, with dimensions and everything, and along with your electrical, and get it all approved at the same time with your application. It affects existing docks if you're doing repair. They're grandfathered in, but if you want to change them, you have to get an application to do, again, some probably will want to go out further and want to make changes, but they have to do an application and be reviewed and be approved. And you understand that would have to be natural, right? We're good?
One other question here, is that from the high water mark where you're starting from?
I believe that's correct. The high water mark is the spec that's in here, and because that's what you want to do. And again, I think it's pretty thorough. It wasn't something thrown together. They have taken some time. Like I said, Raul wrote the changes to the electrical because he wanted to make sure that it was current. Appreciate that. Again, it's another volunteer city doing a fantastic job, in my opinion.
Other things, what was the old fee and what's the new fee?
I have to look. I'm sorry. Application. Come on, guys, pull it out for me. No, it's here. Oh, I already pulled it out, sorry. Okay, application. Come on, guys, in front of me. $150 for new, and it's $100 for repair. That answer it?
What was the old fee?
Hang on. What'd I do with that? I think I'm the one person that brought the old. This is the one that's codified from 93. Hang on a second. I'm not sure it's in this portion of it. I may not have the portion that has the application. I do not.
When I
Okay, thank you. Again, I pulled a front part of it, but I didn't get the,
Charlie and Rick Roderick had updated it from 150 to 200.
excuse me?
The fee that I had, the old one, from when I made a transfer to the city was 150 to 200. But, this is just for council,
Right.
final review and put the council, that's all for that.
We can find the old
This
fee
is what
for
it
sure
is. It's
later.
quite lengthy, but a person who doesn't get all this, this is the ordinance and the application and the regulations and the election.
All right, we want to read the ordinance?
Wait, you want Wayne to speak for a
No.
minute so he can, okay, Wayne speak?
Excuse me?
Well, I thought we could read it and get it.
It says finance. We're discussing it, that's all. Anybody would like to look at it?
Or read it.
What was your question?
Is it okay if Wayne speaks so he can
Yeah, come on up.
read these loud?
Sure,
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
sure. Just push the button on the mic. It'll light up and there you go. Down at the base. There you go.
My name's Duane Hale. I live over on South Shore Drive. I just built a dock, and I would say that the water's down as low as I've seen it in the 10 years that I've been here. And there's no way that I would say that 32 foot out to the end of your dock is anywhere deep enough the way it is right now. I'm out about 34 feet right now, and it's just barely deep enough for me right now. So I would definitely support the idea of it being 38, 40 feet, whatever it is, to the end of that. I think that's a necessity if the water's gonna be this low. As far as size of docks, I know there's a lot of docks that's past what the current ordinance is now, which makes no difference to me whatsoever, but I think I would definitely agree that 40-foot width, I believe, is what was stated in the, as a new format would be reasonable, with variances if needed to be. I don't think that's an issue on this lake. I think that's all I've got to say on it.
Could you give us some of your expertise as far as dock installations or?
I made mine. I wasn't one of these guys that could afford a $50,000 dock, which I talked to people that said that, you know, get one built and drug in here was $35,000 to $50,000. Some of you guys may have experienced that. Maybe I'm way out of line by saying that, but that's what I heard. I use 2x10 treated lumber, all galvanized hardware on it. Flotation about every 18 inches on it, and I had pretty good success with that. So the lightest way to do a cover on it for me, I thought about building one. Obviously, you can't build one and put shingles on it and everything else. I mean, everybody uses a steel. So what I ended up doing was I just purchased a carport that was already prefabbed and put it together, and it seemed to work out really well for me, powder coated. I think someone had mentioned wakes earlier. I think that could be a little bit issue with some of the docks around here is you take a pretty good beating on some of these docks with boats going through there 40 miles an hour plus. So that's really all I've got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a question for you. In my code, dock there, and they extended it out without a permit to 42 feet. Did that happen? Does it block me from going in and out of my code?
My opinion, whatever that's worth, I mean, I think it should have probably been brought up and discussed with somebody, but that should be regulated just like everything else should be regulated on this lake. I don't want to see anything over-regulated, but, you know, for someone to cause a hardship for somebody else, then I think that's an issue. But that's just my opinion. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Rules and regulations are there for a reason. I mean, when I first moved in here 10 years ago, it was my impression, the covenants in my area, there was no outbuildings, there was no campers supposed to be lived in, and I see so many things that have been waived or whatever, and that's neither here nor there, but, you know, if we have regulations, we probably ought to observe them.
Well, Mr. Mayor, why, somebody extends a dock out, why didn't the city let them do that without a permit?
I don't think the city let anybody do anything without a permit.
What year did it happen?
City just took control.
Yeah, it was when the MRID had it, you're right.
Special administrator.
Well, first thing, we need to know about it, so if you do have an issue, we can have the inspector go out and check it, and if it's inhibiting you and it is out of regs, we can try to enforce it then, but first thing is just making it known so we can address it.
I did, but no, it was.
Oh, I hadn't heard, sorry.
Is there any caveats on that for Lagoose Bay, which is a small bay?
I didn't see anything as far as designating any particular bay or any particular width of bay. It was all, speaking of shoreline, high water mark, distance out, width that you're occupying of horizontal to your property. Again, I saw nothing in it designating any bay width. That's true.
Are there any variations in that code that somebody can come and get a variance? Somebody that owns a 400-foot piece of property, for example, 40 feet's only 10% of their lake frontage. Or somebody else who only has a 65 or 75-foot lot, 40 foot is a lot more of the percentage.
I believe it's the building committee of the city would hear and would probably proceed the same way with any other variance. Would have to be involved notifying all neighboring property owners, give them 30 days to respond.
I'm just making sure that is an option. If it is, there it is.
I think that's still an option, but that's what would be involved with a variance.
The side setbacks will still have to be met.
Right.
Do we have an enforcement mechanism for this? Is it building inspector, is it the code enforcement?
I believe we're gonna use a building inspector. Code enforcement could probably be notified, but we'll probably have the building inspector due to the fact that a dock could have other things involved, such as electrical, could be run out to that dock. There's a lot of things involved. There could be a structure on the dock, and all that was, I think, a little greater than a code enforcement. So we'll probably have the building inspector, is what I believe the building committee is designating as the enforcement agent.
Is there any special licensing or anything need to be done to be inspecting dock?
If the inspector had any issues, we would always, you know, if someone isn't compliant, and I asked them to be compliant, then, and they still refuse, then we would push that to code, and code enforcement would do what they do, you know, take them to court or whatever they gotta do. That's how.
They would, code enforcement would do the citation.
Correct. They do
But as far as inspecting what's being done, that'd probably be the building inspector. That's, I believe we were talking about inspections.
That's why I asked, is there any licensing, like electrical? You know, you probably need to be licensed in electrical, check that out. Is there anything that requires dock structure building, like, is there any licensing required to inspect that?
Same as the building inspector.
All right, you wanna move that to finance? You wanna make it the ordinance, or you wanna move that to?
Actually, it's on the agenda for the special meeting. Let me explain why it's on special meeting. It wasn't particularly, special meeting is not particularly for it. but because we had other items where we needed a special meeting, we chose to add it to the special meeting because my understanding, there's 3 applications for docks to be installed on Crown that are waiting to see what this new ordinance is before they proceed. So, again, that's 3 property owners on the lake that are patiently waiting, and that's why we decided to go ahead and include it on this special meeting. We was initiated for it, but since we're doing it, we'd like to go ahead and expedite it on the special meeting to help those 3 property owners out with their docks.
You said expedited, are you meaning read it and pass it tonight? Or are we gonna get a chance to talk about it more?
I imagine we'll see what happens in the special meeting.
Is it considered an emergency?
Again, I'm expressing why I thought it was urgent, because there's 3 property owners.
Does it affect the safety and the health of the people?
We'll get to that in the special meeting.
Again, I don't know
Thank you.
that the ordinance,
Ma'am,
I
go
didn't
ahead
see
with your-
anything that said had an emergency clause on it. That's when you do the
Ryan, we'll
health
get
emergency.
to that in the special meeting. We're gonna be here all night. Ma'am, what did you like to say?
I'm unaware. I was notified that there was 3 applications pending.
It doesn't, we're not gonna go over who's got applications to put docks in this meeting. We're not gonna go over who put applications to put docks in at this moment. Because we have other things to go through and we can talk about in the special meeting. Okay, we'll stay for the special meeting and we'll address it again then. Right after this meeting.
I have the numbers. They're in the office.
So after this meeting, you're gonna have another meeting, and if I hang around, you can give me that information? Okay, thank you.
Okay, nominating committee ordinance, 2025-21.
This ordinance brought forward and was sought from the issues that came out of, even were mentioned in the vote of no confidence, is the fact we have a lot of vacancies on committees not being filled. And this ordinance was written by the city attorney and given back to the council to take action on in the special meeting.
Okay, we'll address that at the special meeting. Resolution 2025-33 to fund attorney. And that is a special meeting item also, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we'll go over that at special meeting. P&R building use policy.
Looking at coming up with some kind of rental agreement. There's been a lot of talk about the use of the building and also the use of the secondary building. I know a lot of people call it a different thing. I'd like to call it an activities building because we've spoken about maybe allowing the Girl Scouts in there and Boy Scouts in there and FFA or whoever would like to use the building for a community place to meet. So by calling it one name, it kind of limits it. I'd rather have it be an activity building.
It's the clubhouse.
No,
It's the
I'm
clubhouse.
talking about what people refer to as the Boy Scout building.
Oh, okay.
I don't like referring to it as Boy Scout building because that kind of, so the Girl Scouts going to meet at the Boy Scouts building. So the FFA is going to meet at the Boy Scout building. No, we need something different. And if you guys don't like activity building, I just don't want a specific organization name to it. I'd rather it be activities building, youth activities building, something, you understand what I'm saying, right? You're right. More people should utilize it.
I guess to me, it doesn't matter what we call it now, 'cause we can't use it, so until we get to that point, I think the name's irrelevant.
I understand that point, and
The Boy Scouts building has been, it's kind of like the MRID building or community center. People call it MRID building because that's what it was used for. The Boy Scouts building, that's what it was used for, so that's. why
I understand.
it's that, so.
I understand.
really could care less what it's called.
I understand, it's just a name. But I'd rather it be more generic so more people won't feel that they don't have use of it. That's all. More inviting to more people, more groups. As far as not being finished, it was supposed to be done with volunteer work and so forth. That's what the mayor proposed, and we didn't get it. It didn't get across the finish line.
I've got people willing to do it, but I can't get in the building now.
Well, anything that needs to be done to those buildings that the city owns has to go through a certain,
I mean, it should have before
done away,
too, when they
right.
volunteered to it. I'm just saying, I have volunteers willing to do it now, after we went through this.
with the proper coordination, I'm sure it could be done.
Here's why it's important, city, why it's important to have volunteers. If volunteers do it and we don't use city monies toward it, it's sort of grandfathered in. If we start putting out agreements and so forth to get the work done and the city pays those, I don't believe that building's ADA compliant. And I don't know it needs to be ADA compliant if it is the same building without us applying direct agreements to it. If it's all volunteer, it doesn't have to do that, I believe. But I just want to present that out there. We start putting city funds to it, we're gonna have to do a lot more monetarily to make it ADA compliant. I believe that's the situation. You agree, Uriah?
It could be, I'm just, I mean, at this point, how much has the city put into it? And why should we rely on volunteers? I mean, if it needs to be brought up to code, do it and do it correctly, just like with the community center. If not, then let the volunteer do it. It doesn't matter to me either way.
I understand.
I mean,
Didn't it start 20?
To do that much, it would just have to be one of those things we get on the list to do. We've got several things to do, so the Boy Scout building would just have to get in line if we're gonna go that far with it. Right.
I don't disagree.
I believe we have been. We fixed the pavilion recently. Go look. Go look. It's under work.
They poured the concrete, they can,
I realize now that the pavilion, the community center pavilion is getting ADA compliant, but I'm talking in general. It's like, we don't have the building codes in place to enforce the ADA compliance if a new store comes in. You have buildings that need repair, that need to be brought up to code anyway. There are kids and people that use wheelchairs, that use walkers, that use different things, and ADA is important for our city.
And all those things were still there, Carol, when you were in this seat, all those things were still there through the whole time that you sat in this chair. So we're actually doing something about them now. We're fixing them now. So that's what we're trying to do. Thank you. Okay.
Even at that water on the bridge, you still have animal control that we're doing right now.
Right.
What has to be done out there, so this project can finally get across the finish line also. Are we gonna need a concrete ramp to come up to level in front of the front door? Is there gonna have to be a concrete pad for handicap parking in front of the animal? Who knows these things? Where you find your answers, but we gotta do it, we gotta do it.
I agree with you.
We didn't know, I mean, when.
Is it for wheelchairs or for dollies so people can carry stuff easy?
I would like to make a motion, we send this to council consideration on the fees for renting. And there's time between now and council, citizens want to look at this and discuss these fees, and then come council time, we can then look at this and take action then. I make a motion, we put this to council. Yeah, I can read those to you. Proposed fees. Rental of the community center, which that's what I think we're calling it. I would prefer to call it community center myself. The rental in the community center, the upstairs, a capacity of 125 people, would be $170 to $100 per incident. A rental of the community center downstairs, max capacity of 175 people, would be $75 to $100. Rental of the entire community center, both up and downstairs, capacity of 300 people, would be $150. Rental of the activities building, again, if you want to know the name, that's fine. I just call it activities building. Capacity of 50 people is $50. And then let's see, there's a refundable deposit. Deposit would be charged on the community center would be $100 per floor. So if you rented one floor, it's $100. If you rented both floors, it's $200. Activities building deposit is $75. That is if you have your birthday party, bar mitzvah, whatever you're having there. If you did fail to clean the facility properly, then that deposit will be used. If you did clean it properly, it'll be refunded. Standard is any other place. Then there's also a monthly and weekly for groups that would occupy a building weekly or monthly. And on the community center, upper floor is $20. Community center lower floor is $20. Rental of the whole community center is $40. Rental of the activities building is $15. And all these would require a $75 refundable cleaning deposit that after, if you terminate and decide not to use that building and you'd cleaned it after every one of your meetings, you would get the $75 back. However, as it says here, if you failed to clean it, then the $75 would be used to clean it. And before you met again on your next weekly or monthly meeting, you would have to deposit another $75 before you could have that subsequent meeting. That's what it says in the proposed rates.
Is that for the activities, is that $15 monthly or weekly?
If you're meeting weekly, it'd be $15 weekly. You're meeting monthly, it'd be $15 monthly.
So the
Per
per
meeting.
So the Boy Scouts would have to pay $15 every time they have a meeting?
Correct. Same for everybody.
The point of the Boy Scouts coming back here was we had told them that we were going to create a building for them. And that building was actually given to the Boy Scouts by proclamation for 99 years. It was hanging on the wall, and I believe the Shriners guy has got that, where the city gave them that building for 99 years. And now you want to charge them $15 just to use it?
So is it theirs?
Huh?
Is it theirs or is it ours to maintain? Like, are we taking care of it and doing the repairs or?
Yeah, I think we are, to provide a place for kids. And then I don't think we should charge them $15 to let the kids use it.
What do you want to do?
I want to let the Boy Scouts have at least half of that building, and there's a second half that the Girl Scouts talked about using it too, but for them to have a place, and correct me if I'm wrong, Uri, I know when they left before, the Boy Scouts have stuff that they store, sleeping bags and boats and tents and stuff that they use. So if they're only renting it, then what, are they going to have to rent to store it too?
What does everybody think of that?
Who's sponsoring the Boy Scouts?
But, right.
That somebody has to sponsor a scout troop or a scout troop or scout.
Okay, so you're still back to you want kids to pay for the use of a building that was for kids.
And that's who's responsible for them then.
There you go.
The boating and fishing club is responsible to provide them with a place to meet.
I'm not here
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
I had no idea the building was given to rent free for 91 years.
It was. The proclamation was right on the wall there,
Go ahead.
just like there's a proclamation here, I think, right there
Go ahead,
on the
Owen.
wall behind you.
I just have a question, as far as the Boy Scout building, where'd the money come from to get it to where it's at now? And it's like in limbo right now, but there was money to start all that to get it going, and for volunteers, there was money that came from somewhere, where did that money come from?
The first 1,500 came from me.
Okay, it's from the mayor. So I'm just asking, where'd that money come from? So this guy, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, volunteered that money. So what I'm saying is, if you're gonna look at that, then we should have volunteers to volunteer some money and finish the thing. Like you said, you got volunteers that wanna finish it, well, give them a key and let them finish it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Fix the building, then you gotta pay to use it.
The problem comes in, the city is not a charity organization. I don't think we're allowed to give it to them for free. Honestly, I don't think we are. We couldn't do the waivers, we can't do this either.
Who pays the utilities?
Right, we do. We pay the insurance, we pay the heat, we pay
We're
all that.
responsible
And
for
we're not
that
a charity
building.
organization. We can't pick and choose.
Right.
Well, we're gonna help you, but we're not gonna help you. We're not allowed to do that. Mr. Sipe was very clear on that when we tried to do it with the fee schedule. We couldn't do it.
The fee schedule is totally different than.
No, it's not. No, it's not. We can't say one person doesn't have to pay and another person does. We can't say one person can do progress payments and another person can't. We can't do that. So we can't say you have to pay rent for this building and you get it free because we like you. You can't do it. It might be a good idea, but you can't do it.
That's true.
Again, I made a motion that we forward this to council. And between now and then, we can discuss these things. This is just a proposal. It's nothing more than that.
Right.
At this point, action can't be taken on this. There's plenty of time between now and the city council meeting to hash these items out.
Do I have a
suggest
second?
we do that.
Do we have a second?
Could you keep it
Sheila
down?
seconded.
We got a motion on the floor, please? No second?
Yeah, Sheila.
Okay, thank you, Sheila. Ma'am, we have a motion on the floor. We're trying to take a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say the same. Thank you. All right, 2026 budget. I'm
So
gonna have to
I-
ask you to step out if you can't keep it down while we're trying to talk. Thank you.
I enclosed in the packet the first pass.
Everybody quiet, please.
A first pass on the budget, by no means complete. Certainly, the idea is that you guys can all look at it, see what you think about some things versus other things, comments, whatever, and it'll be a working document, but this is just a first pass. I just got the information from Chris Bindus on his stuff, and Parks and Rec is a real hard thing to figure out because we've only had it for 6 months, so trying to figure out what 1 year looks like is a little bit difficult. So, again, I took my best shot at it, so.
All right, thank you. All right, public comments. We have one. Jeff, you here? Come on up.
Y'all do it. Y'all talk about handicap accessibility. There's not a handrail outside. House. I hit the button. Talk about the city ordinance for the dogs. I do have my paperwork from the FIFO or whatever it is. I guess you want those. Somebody. I put in a couple complaints on the dog pound man. He's attacking, same as you kind of did the last time me and you had conversation.
Hey, Jeff, real quick. I gotta start 3 minutes, brother. You got 3 minutes to go.
You started now?
Yes.
Right. Start with Luke 3:14. Soldiers asked him, "And what should we do?" He replied, "Don't extort money, don't accuse people falsely. Be content with your pay." So I'm trying to understand why I can't go to a lake in a town that I've lived in forever and be attacked at my own beach by somebody that doesn't know his ordinance. He has animals on the lake. As anybody else, for you to not have animals on the lake, that would mean it would be illegal for anybody on the lake to have an animal. But the ordinances are here, they're printed out if you would like to see them, if you need them. I don't know, I think he's been disrespectful to me by coming down there. My son did drop off a dog. He was mad about that. And then he seen my truck down there and he come and attacked me. And my dog, we just went down there and enjoyed some time at the lake and came home. Or I put him right back in the truck because he won't let me in the water if he's not in the truck. I found out that if I put him in the truck, he'll let me get in the water. So it's not like he's out long. I used to pick up his shit because you said worms or whatever. He wasn't in the sand. There was a lot of other dogs down there. He only came for me. He said he had me on tape. He's got me on tape. He removed a sign that did say dogs must be on leash, because there was a sign down there that said dogs must be on leash. He put a phone in my face to show me an old sign. It was an MRID sign. Again, he's attacking me for no reason. I don't know what y'all got against me. It's just a man and a dog. I prefer to leave it there, and I know how I feel about it. I just feel that his representation of Horseshoe Bend is poor, and I've not really heard any great thing about him being a dog man of Horseshoe Bend. But he did come at me for no reason.
Can you read this?
Yeah. Daggone. Look.
What's it say?
Look. My 3 minutes up? Yeah.
The mayor asked him a question, though. He's not talking, right?
I just took a picture of it on them. Where'd the man go? Mr. Robertson?
They're calling.
Mr. Robertson! That's an MRID sign. That sounds no good.
That sign's been there for
There
at least
was a
11
sign-
years
there-
that I said. And the
There was a
reason,
sign over this sign that said, dogs must be on leash. And they have removed that sign because they're still coming after me to prove a point. Right? He's showing me a sign. Okay? It doesn't say what that says. My phone won't go back or do whatever.
I mean, we're just gonna enforce whatever the city has us do.
Right here's your city ordinance.
this sign's been here before. I've been on Pioneer Lake for almost 11 years now. And what this says is no pets are allowed on the beach.
There's not a city ordinance, and that's a made-up sign.
All right, Jeff. Thank you, brother.
Regardless if this sign's been
Thank
there for 30 years, it can't be enforced.
It's not there.
It's
not there.
Yeah, because somebody took it off.
It is not there.
I just took a picture of this.
Just like he removed the other sign, this is what it says now.
Since we're talking about signs, has anyone from council, I know there
I don't
was
know
a
anybody else.
gentleman that came and asked about updating signage, has anyone,
We've started it already. We started it.
start looking into?
They've started.
Yeah.
So council, is there ordinance or no? My paperwork says
No, there is no ordinance that says
no
that.
ordinance against dogs. The sign down there is no good.
And we checked with the health department and they don't have any law either, so.
It's no good.
Thank you, Jeff.
They have no, talked to several sources at the health department, they have no rule against dogs on beaches either, so.
No, you could go out and have one at your home. the lake. It was a law.
All right, we've reached the talk around portion, so now, feel free to speak, as everybody wanted to talk a while ago, but now's the time.
I have one thing I'd like to add, I don't know if you want it now or
Can you use the microphone, Carol?
but on the ordinance
already
for docks, I would like it to have some caveat in there,
What do you
based
say?
on the width of the dock, or of the bay.
Can you repeat all that, because they can't hear you out there?
Sure. So I would like, if you're going to put an ordinance into effect regarding docks, that you also include some sort of caveat as to the width of some bays. I think it's important, if you have a narrow bay, if somebody wants to bring a dock out 40 feet or 38 feet, it could be a problem for a neighbor next to you that might have even less room. So I think it's important that rather than having just a variance ability, that you put some sort of caveat in there regarding bay width. It may not affect Goose Bay, but it might affect a little bay that is over by Crown Point, a little one that is around, you go around, how do I explain it? You go to the deep end of Crown Lake and you go to the right, and there's a little cove that goes down that direction too. And those areas are pretty small to be increasing the length and the width of docks there. So it's something that I think should be taken into consideration. Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
Has there been any consideration by council to propose a yearly dock fee to people that live on the lake and own a dock? We have no revenue stream currently. Homeowners could pay, I mean, we're taking up square feet on the lake by the docks that we put on there. That's less for the people that come on the lake and use it. So why not have a dock fee that could bring some revenue into our lakes? Doesn't have to be outrageous, $10 a year isn't that bad. But we need money to come into the lake, so if something happened to the dam, if any catastrophic failure happened, at least we have an account for our lakes.
I've had people bring that up.
Can she go up to
It's not a,
the microphone and do the same thing that I did?
it's not a bad
Please
idea.
do, if you would, come to the microphone so they can hear at home.
Would you want me to repeat all?
Please, I mean, they're saying at home they cannot hear the audience, that's all. Thank you, Gary.
I asked if there was any consideration by council or a proposal to initiate dock fees, yearly dock fees for all the lakes. I said, as we take up square footage on the lake, that's less that anybody that goes on the lake can use. So logically speaking, we should be paying for what we take space up. That's residential, commercial, everyone. It does, like I said, it didn't have to be outrageous, a $10 fee a year, $5 fee, but there would be at least a bit of a revenue stream coming in specifically for lake use.
I think it's very reasonable to have a dock fee. It's been proposed to me too, asked about the same thing, a fee for an owner to have a dock into the lake, because they are occupying. Just as also has been discussed about Aqua Park takes up so much of the lake, there needs to be a charge there. A marina takes up so much of the lake, there needs to be a charge there. And that revenue can be used to benefit the lake, whichever lake it may be. We're not talking about just a dock on Crown. If there's a dock in another lake, it ought to be applied to that dock also. And I would understand this too, enforcement of speed and so forth that affects docks. That requires some kind of funding source in order for us to have someone out there keeping, as was mentioned earlier, a 40-mile-an-hour boat causing a wake and damage. Well, who are we going to send out there? Because the sheriff's department's not going to do anything. Game and Fish is not going to do anything. We'll have to have someone who is certified and qualified to help enforce the regulations on the lake. And one way of funding it would be a dock fee, a fee for space occupied by an aqua park or a marina and so forth, because they're utilizing that. Actually, that fee would be higher than a dock fee for the area, because those are actually generating a monetary return to the people that have the marina, the people that have the aqua park. So therefore, that occupying that portion of, let's say, square footage of the lake, however you want to determine it, should be higher, because it is a commercial enterprise rather than a property owner having a dock. So I think all those sources of revenue should be utilized not just for the benefit of the lake, but also for enforcing the speed on the lake and so forth, which damage docks.
Tim, you had something? Oh. Go ahead, Tim.
Come up here. Come up here.
Have to be at the mic, please.
Line up at the mic.
It's a race.
That's a hard act. Well,
I have no problem with dock fees. I don't like the point that we're getting where we're charging a Parks and Rec fee, now a dock fee. Somehow we have to figure out how to charge the people that are using our lake, that are coming from Cherokee Village, Jonesboro, and all around here. That money should be also included in the discussion. And if that takes getting rid of that old lawsuit from the MRID against the marina, figure that out. And if it's done, then let's go to contract talks. Let's get the commercial businesses, including the Airbnbs. Now,
That was my question. What's stopping a residential property from commercializing it and Airbnb in it? So how do you, again?
do we license Airbnbs in this town? Supposed to?
Supposed to be.
Do we have one Airbnb license in Horseshoe Bend?
No.
No.
And the council got rid of the inspector for rental properties, so we don't do that anymore either. They took that out of the budget.
So there are many things that we can look at as far as bringing revenue in to a lake account or whatever. We're still having emergency action plan. Where are we at on that? Good enough, because that needs to go forward. That's probably, I know it's not an easy task, but I thank you for taking that on. So, but there's a lot of things. It's like the nickel and diming people. That's gotta figure a better way. Gotta figure a better way. That the fee structure thing that we put on for Parks and Rec. Seriously, I think everybody knows that's a joke when you own a lake lot and you're paying $80 and somebody over in a trailer park's paying $80. So if there's some different way that we could ever, and it's not gonna happen, ever get a tax district back in for Parks and Rec, that these fees can be where somebody down in the lake's paying $400, somebody over in the trailer park's paying $25.
that's what we had, and the mayor got rid of that.
That was with the old MRID, I understand, again, water under the bridge, gotta keep moving forward. So,
That's funny, I didn't see my name in that lawsuit.
so, again, please don't antagonize it. So anyway, that's all I got to say, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you. I would just say one thing, that as far as this fee for the dock, I'll pay it, I don't care. But I'm also paying higher property tax because I'm on the lake. So why am I mean, I'll pay it, I don't care, but it just doesn't seem right. I'll be glad to pay it, actually.
He likes seats.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to say something about the one grant that you applied for, the fireman's grant. There's a couple things about that. So first, before I get crucified for saying we don't have volunteer firemen, we actually don't, according to the law. We pay them for their meetings, for their fire, and for their training. Now, do we pay them what they're worth? Heck no, we're not even close to that. But when you write a grant to the federal government, you can't say you have volunteers when we cut them paychecks from the city. We pay them. And
We're
we
not
pay our-
24-hour paid.
Well, that may be true, but they still get a form of money. Okay, when you're a volunteer, you don't get anything. Ask Raya, he volunteers. You don't get any checks, do you? Yeah, I didn't think so. So moving right along, The most serious thing in this grant, and I don't think that anybody took a time to tell the citizens, is the last statement here that says, the city commits to sustain any reoccurring cost after the federal performance period. So if you take this money and you hire 5 firemen, which I would love to do, be nice to have 5 full-time firemen, or even more important, 2 full-time EMTs and an ambulance. But realize, once you do that and you spend this money and it runs out, you have to keep that program going forever. That's the commitment. I don't believe you told the voters that this was gonna cost them whatever you decide for the rest of their lives. Because that's how that works. That's what that grant is. You can smile all you want to, but it's a commitment that
You obviously
is,
didn't read the
is
grant,
part of the
Mr.
grant.
Mr. Mayor, you didn't read the grant. It has nothing to do with hiring anybody. It's mostly an advertising program to get more volunteers. There isn't really much for recurrent thing. We're not gonna get the grant anyway, so it's kind of moot. But the whole idea was an advertising
Why
program.
aren't you gonna
to-
get the grant?
Well, I think the timeline is already over. So I don't think we got picked. And in talking with White River, he said that the FEMA grants are really, really tough, so unlikely we were gonna get it. And I hope
We
we
were
do.
supposed to be told in August,
Right.
and we haven't heard anything.
Middle of August through the end of September, but now with the government shutdown, it's possible it got extended. I don't know, and you know, there's a glimmer of hope. But
do a
the
little
whole idea
research-
is
I'll do a little re-
basically a campaign to try to get more volunteers. It's not any recurrent thing. There's a little bit of stuff in there for equipment that they would pay for, but nothing that would be recurrent. So, and those questions came up at the meeting, if you were at the meeting when we talked about it.
I do a little research on this, not paying volunteers. I think most volunteer fire departments do pay the people that volunteer and come out and fight fires. And if that means that you can't apply for money to assist a volunteer, quote, what we call volunteer, and every other volunteer fire department in Issac County does cut a check when a person responds voluntarily, which is nowhere near what a person get paid if they're a full-time fireman is what? What do they get paid for attending a fire?
$25.
$25. Wow, you put your life on the line for $25. That's amazing. But you're not saying it's voluntary. To me, somebody shows up at 25, that barely cover their gas, coming here and going back home, but that's fine.
With federal grants, there is a distinction. There's a very big difference between volunteer and paid on call. That can
Understand.
keep you out of a grant.
I understand.
Right. If it's paid, if we are paid on call, then we are not volunteer, period.
I
Yeah,
understand what
that's
you're
all
saying.
I'm saying, Brian.
you're paid on
So
call,
don't turn this
as-
into a
as
personal thing
specified,
against the firemen.
As, if you're paid on call, as you were stating, you're paid an hourly rate. We're not paying an hourly rate. It's a difference between, okay,
We're
let me
not
do the
at
research, let me bring it out.
Unfortunately, I don't think you read the grant either, Beth, because they do ask the question in the grant. Do you have paid volunteers? If they say it, and it wasn't a disqualifier. It was not a disqualifier, guarantee it. So,
I just want to clarify. I was
sure.
paid
It's all right.
on-call department, and there is a distinction that you cannot get volunteer grants if you're paid on-call.
Because remember, the whole grant wasn't to try to reward somebody for either paying or not paying or whatever. It was to try to get more volunteers.
Volunteers.
So the only recurring cost would be a good recurring cost, and that would mean that we had 5 more volunteers.
I think there was an option, like the mayor said in that grant as I was reading it, that you could
Hire
hire
people.
employees, but there was, after the grant was over, there was a mandatory retention of those employees, if that's the option you chose to use the grant
Correct.
for. The other options are what you're talking about.
Correct.
In the 24-hour, we would have people staying in that fire station, which we do not have living quarters like we do at the ambulance base. They're 24/7, 365 at the ambulance base. This fire department does, like I said, does not have housing quarters. We respond from our house just like the volunteer ambulance used to be that we had. We would respond from the house, we would come and get the ambulance or a fire truck, and we'd go to the scene. When we get done with the call, we park it back in the garage, and then we go home. That's a 24/7, 365 is a full-time paid fire department. Volunteers are when called. That's the difference.
Any more talk around? Questions, comments?
What about the flower bed out front? Who takes care of that?
Well, at this point, nobody's taking care of it but the weeds, but we are gonna get somebody to go through and weed the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got neglected this summer, no doubt, and half-starved because no water. Um,
Got one quick question. Down the street here at the corner.
Sorry, could you come to the mic? People at home can't hear, I'm sorry.
Thank you. My question is, the lot down here, across from the, what's the new Dollar General, whatever the hell it is, that whole corner is this high. Isn't there an ordinance about mowing that? Whose responsibility is that?
Well, it's the owner's responsibility, and it's the code's guy to enforce it.
Well, I guess it looks terrible. I'm done. No, I ain't that.
Just stay up front, bud. Just stay up front.
All right.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
All right, we've got a motion and a second.
Who's the second?
Second.
Luther?
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say the same. We're adjourned. Special meeting.
Is that what you wanna do?
David says get it over. Get it over.
Do you need a break? Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a 3-minute break here, and then we're gonna do the next special meeting.
These three things. The ordinance about the docks, the ordinance about not making a nominating committee that we discussed, and a resolution for the writ of mandamus.
What's that?
It's involved. It'll be discussed in the meeting. Speak.
No, he texted me that he was doing something. I wasn't sure if he was going to get back, and he must have, at this point, decided not to show up. Yeah. For sure, we're still at work trying to finish a parking lot. So. because I think people want to put more comments in on that. But it had to be, and if we were gonna do it, it had to be on, so we can't add it later. But I suspect we won't even vote on that one.
Okay, folks, I guess everybody's back. Please grab a seat. We're going to go forward. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Do a roll call, Bill.
Councilmember Yancey.
Here.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Councilmember Hilliker.
Here.
Councilmember Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Raines.
Here.
Councilmember Vickers.
Here.
Councilmember Dawson. Councilmember Draper.
Here.
Mayor.
Here. Okay, so ordinances. Are we reading these ordinances? Are we voting on these ordinances?
Brian, should we do a first reading on?
First reading of 2025-22 is what we start with.
Okay. Ordinance 2025-22, which is an amendment to ordinance 93-13. An ordinance authorizing the city of Horseshoe Bend to promulgate, regulate, and enforce standards regarding construction of boat docks, boathouses, and similar structures on lakes owned and operated by the city of Horseshoe Bend. Whereas there have been several meetings and discussions regarding this subject, now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the City Council of the City of Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas, to wit, Section 1, the rules and regulations as prescribed by the City of Horseshoe Bend and which are hereby attached are adopted by reference and made part of this ordinance. Section 2, these rules and regulations referred to in Section 1 may be subject to revision and change from time to time at the discretion of the City of Horseshoe Bend by majority vote. Section 3, all provisions of Section 6 of the Municipal Code of the City of Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas regarding real property may apply to these structures on or in proximity of any of the lakes referred to in the rules and regulations which are owned and operated by the City of Horseshoe Bend. Section 4, violation of any of the City of Horseshoe Bend rules or any section of this ordinance will be subject to the enforcement and penalties as prescribed in Section 516 of the Municipal Code. Section 5, and this ordinance being necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety, an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and the same shall be in full force and effect immediately after its passage.
Okay.
This mentions the attached, is that correct?
Yes, it does.
I'd like to, before we go any further, I'd like to have an amendment to the attached, to be put in a section of the specifications that the consideration of a new dock look at the width of the bay affected.
And where are you gonna put that?
Anywhere you want to put it.
Okay, you just wanna add it somewhere.
It just needs to be
right.
another section here. So it would be on the specification regulations of the dock itself.
I'd say it should be in the distance that it's going out, as far as the width of the bay.
That would be good. Because it's a valid concern that was expressed in the finance. Did you add that? Find a place to add that?
I
or
just
where we can?
Put a note for now because I don't think we're reading this a second time, are we?
Yes, we are.
We are?
I make a motion, we suspend the
Well,
rules.
then I gotta figure out exactly the right verbiage, cause I can't just.
That'll be fine.
And where exactly do you want me to put it?
We have
In
to
the
pass
distances-
this
in the
tonight in the special
distances-
meeting?
Excuse me?
We have to pass this tonight in the special meeting, and none of the citizens have been able to read this or look at this?
I intend to, because there's 3 pending applications, so I'm trying to facilitate for the citizens that are patiently waiting to start their docks.
There's 3 people, but there's how many citizens in the town?
Yeah, I would say
agree.
wait.
I agree.
Because you got 3 people waiting, but you got,
I wanna read
I
it.
don't know how many boat docks are on the lake.
Okay.
Look over this and,
Yep.
I mean, it got to fit everybody that lives on the lake.
Okay,
putting a boat
make
dock.
a note and we'll,
I made a note.
leave it as a first reading. That'd be fine.
Okay.
The citizens are supposed to have 30 days for an ordinance or anything to take effect.
Yeah.
Come on up, Rick.
Thank you. Just as a matter of a little wordsmithing, where you say it can be changed by a vote of the city with a majority, you may want to clarify that, what a vote of the city means.
Yeah, I
think-
saw that. That's the original.
I think it could be construed that it has to go to the populace to vote. So, you may want
Yes.
to clarify that. Thank you.
That's the original verbiage that was in there, and I caught that as well.
That's a good point. Well taken.
City council, probably should be.
So,
Get my notes here quick.
what are we doing, folks?
I withdrew my motion. I'm sorry. I withdraw my motion.
Okay, so then read the next ordinance, 2025-21.
City of Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas, ordinance number 2025-21, Title, an ordinance to form a nominating committee to nominate and appoint individuals to serve on all boards, committees, and commissions of the city of Horseshoe Bend. Whereas the city council has voted no confidence in the mayor, and whereas the mayor has failed to nominate or appoint citizens to boards, committees, and commissions, resulting in vacancies on some boards, committees, and commissions, and whereas it is in the best interest of the city of Horseshoe Bend for all board, committee, and commission positions to be filled, then and therefore it is hereby ordained that a nominating committee shall be formed to nominate individuals to serve on all boards, committees, and commissions in the city of Horseshoe Bend. 2, that the nominating committee shall consist of the members of the city council. The finance committee chairperson shall serve as the chairperson of the nominating committee. 3, that the nominating committee shall name and appoint the members of the boards, committees, and commissions of Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas, and the appointments shall be valid and effective upon confirmation by the Horseshoe Bend City Council. That at least 5 members, 4, that at least 5 members of the nominating committee shall be present in order to hold a meeting of the nominating committee. 5, a successful nomination and appointment of an individual to a board, committee, or commission shall require at least 5 votes of the nominating committee in favor of the nomination and appointment. 6, individuals shall submit applications to the nominating committee in order to be considered for nomination and appointment to a board, committee, or commission. 7, the process of nomination and appointment to boards, committees, and commissions outlined in this ordinance shall supersede all prior processes of nomination and appointment to boards, committees, and commission.
I move we suspend the rules and read it the second time by title only.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
Discussion?
This ordinance was written by the city attorney. Just for a word of knowledge for the public, Brad Sipe penned this ordinance.
Okay. Any other discussion? Any other comments on the ordinance? Well, I'm just going to register that I don't think this is an emergency, and I think the people should have a chance to actually digest this stuff. But we have a motion on the floor, and we have a second to suspend the rules. So,
Roll call vote.
roll call vote.
Councilmember Yancey.
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilliker.
Yes.
Councilmember Turner.
Yes.
Councilmember Raines.
Yes.
Councilmember Vickers.
Yes.
Councilmember Draper.
Yes.
Okay. The rules have been suspended. You can read it for the second time by title only.
Title, an ordinance to form a nominating committee to nominate and appoint individuals to serve on all boards, committees, and commissions of the city of Horseshoe Bend.
I make a motion that we suspend the rules and read for the third time by title only.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Which one do I take? Sure. I'm a sexist, I'm sorry.
I'm not going to waste time asking for discussion. Roll call vote.
Okay. Councilmember Yancey.
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilliker.
Yes.
Councilmember Turner.
Yes.
Councilmember Raines.
Yes.
Councilmember Vickers.
Yes.
Councilmember Draper.
Yes.
Okay. The rules are suspended for a second time. Read it for the third time for a vote.
Title, an ordinance to form a nominating committee to nominate and appoint the individuals to serve on all boards, committees, and commissions of the city of Horseshoe Bend.
I move we pass this ordinance. Make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Yancey.
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilliker.
Yes.
Councilmember Turner.
Yes.
Councilmember Raines. Councilmember Vickers.
Yes.
Councilmember Draper.
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance is passed. Yeah, you can.
I guess I just don't understand why we need a committee to form more committees. Can't you guys just take that responsibility? Because then who's gonna oversee the committee? Not a committee to oversee that committee, like, we're just
The council is the committee.
The council is the committee. The council always had to approve every appointment. So we're just changing.
They're just taking the authority away from the mayor to appoint, and then they approve. They want to stack the committees. Let's move on. When I got in office, there was 12 open spots in the committee, and there was more open spots for the mayor above that. So anyways, all right, so we did a vote. Did you do a roll call vote?
Yes, we did. It passed.
And it passed. Okay, next this is a resolution.
Correct.
Okay.
Resolution number 2025-33, a resolution authorizing the filing of a petition for writ of mandamus against the mayor of the city of Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas. Whereas the City Council of the City of Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas, City Council is the duly elected governing body of the city, authorized to enact ordinances, resolutions, and other measures pursuant to Arkansas law. And whereas Arkansas Code annotated 14-55-205 requires that all ordinances and resolutions passed by the City Council be authenticated by the signatures of the presiding officer and the city recorder. And whereas Arkansas annotated 14-44-108 provides that the mayor of the city of the second class shall perform all duties required by the ordinances of the city. And whereas the City Council has duly enacted certain ordinances and resolutions, including measures passed over the mayor's veto that have not been authenticated by the mayor's signature. And whereas the mayor's failure to sign and authenticate these duly enacted ordinances and resolutions has created uncertainty in the public record and hindered the lawful implementation of City Council actions. And whereas the City Council has determined that it is necessary to seek judicial relief in the form of a petition for writ of mandamus to compel the mayor to perform these ministerial duties as required by Arkansas law. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas. 1, the City Council hereby authorizes and directs legal counsel Biquette, Billingsley, and Keys to file a petition for writ of mandamus in the Circuit Court of Izard County, Arkansas, styled City Council of Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas versus Honorable Duane Delair, Mayor of the City of Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas, seeking an order requiring the mayor to sign and authenticate all ordinances and resolutions duly enacted by the City Council. 2, the petition shall request that the court compel the mayor to perform all duties required by Arkansas law and by duly enacted ordinances and resolutions of the City Council, including but not limited to those listed in Exhibit 1 attached to the petition. 3, any and all prior actions taken by members of the City Council and its legal counsel in preparing and pursuing this matter are hereby ratified and approved. 4, funding of up to $5,000 from freed up funds is authorized for this action. 5, this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and approval.
Where's the list of Exhibit 1?
I believe the list is in the actual writ that isn't part of this, so I think that's what he was referring to. So not written by me, it was written by an attorney.
I guess my talk around piece would be like, why are we having to hire an attorney to get you to sign ordinances and resolutions that have been passed well over 5 days ago?
That's a good question. First, the law doesn't give a time saying that says I have to sign them in 5 days. The law doesn't say that. Second, I've talked with attorneys that said if an ordinance is unconstitutional or viewed to be illegal, that's what I've said in my veto. I've told you that. Now, you have a right to overturn my veto by 2/3 vote, and then it automatically becomes law once you overturn it. My signature doesn't make it law. Your vote has actually made it law, but I think you should go ahead and spend $5,000 of city money on an attorney for a signature.
No, it's just not a signature. There are other items that are being held up. You know, along with this writ, it's saying to go ahead and follow what the city council has made into ordinance, and you fail to comply with the ordinance.
I've signed all the ordinances that I believe are fair and appropriate. I'm waiting to find out some information, but you make your decisions however you want to. Go ahead.
I am telling you once more, it's not just the signatures that's applying to this writ.
How many taxpayers have you talked to about spending $5,000 on an attorney? How many taxpayers?
We were directed to do so by the municipal league. We were directed to do so by the prosecutor that covers Izard County, that we should do a writ of mandamus. Therefore, we are following the directions that were given to us by the municipal league and by the prosecutor of Izard County.
That's funny, because when I talked to Brad, Brad said he didn't want to get involved in it at all. that it was a conflict of interest for him, and he
You're
didn't want
speaking of the
anything to do with
deputy,
it.
I'm talking the prosecutor, his boss.
Well, I'm gonna be seeing him
That's
tomorrow.
Drew Smith. I have email that states as such.
Is it in the budget bill?
It's in the budget.
No,
The
that's
council
why we
says
have
it
to
is.
vote on it.
So you're just gonna go over the budget for this, for another legal? You're already moving $30,000 that you didn't have for a private lawsuit. that
Not
you-
private.
Yes, it is, that you expect the taxpayers to pay for. There's only 7 of you involved.
Again, that's your opinion. It's still a legal matter. Don't care to discuss it this time.
So, it is a legal matter, but you're moving city funds. So if you were to lose the lawsuit, do you personally have to pay for it? Or are you gonna say, sorry?
I don't think they.
Still another legal matter. Don't discuss the case. I call the question.
You can't call a question. We don't operate under Robert's Rules of Order.
I move we
so-
pass the resolution. How
Well,
about
you
that?
can move that. That's right. If you want to put a motion on the floor, you can move to pass the resolution. Is there a second?
Second?
Yeah.
Jeanette?
Okay, call for a vote. Roll call.
Councilmember Yancey.
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilliker.
Yes.
Councilmember Turner.
Yes.
Councilmember Raines.
Yes.
Councilmember Vickers.
Yes.
Councilmember Draper.
Yes.
The resolution is passed. Any other business?
Can't discuss any other business, special meeting.
Any other business is adjournment.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion,
Yeah, can't get out of here quick enough, huh?
right?
Who would you say
Yeah.
said first? David?
Actually, I think David said it first.
Okay, who's seconding?
I guess Jeanette's second.
Jeanette? Okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you, we'll try.
I tried as fast as I could. Tried to get you as
Oh,
fast as I
that's
could.
fine.
Thank you, guys.
Uh-huh.
$60 a there's any volunteers ready to do it. We were asked a bunch of times, turn it off.